Hello to everyone. Welcome. We welcome today Father Markus Solo, SVD. Good morning, Father Markus.
Good morning, Father Modesto.
Could you introduce yourself, Father Markus? Who are you?
I'm Father Markus Solo. I was born in Flores in Indonesia. And after finishing my philosophy studies at SVD High School, Ledellero, I was sent to Austria, to St. Gabriel, to continue the theology studies. And then I was also ordained in Austria in 1997. And after that, I was sent to several studies outside of Austria. And then finally, 2007, I was called by the Holy See in order to join the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue in the Vatican. And I got the responsibility to follow the dialogue between Catholics and Muslims in Asia and Pacific.
From the dicastery for Interreligious Dialogue to a translator of the Pope Francis.
Yes,
How did you come?
it was, let us say, a privilege for me. I never expected to accompany the Holy Father to Indonesia, even though if I am the only Indonesian working in the Curia. But you never take it for granted that you will be chosen in order to accompany the Holy Father. Actually, in June and July, I was involved in the preparation of the text and documents of the Holy Father for his trip to Indonesia. And then slowly, I was more involved. And by the middle of August this year, I was called by the Secretary of State. It is the protocol office of the Pope. And they told me that the Holy Father has approved me to become his personal translator. And it was really a big joy, but however, it was a challenge because I never knew at the moment what I am going to do.
A privilege, indeed, to be chosen or accepted by the Pope to be his translator during the journey.
Yes, it is a privilege because the reception committee in Indonesia has prepared somebody else. And I saw the list and the name of the translator, and therefore, actually, I have given up my hope. But then suddenly I was called, and being the only Indonesian working in the Vatican, it is for me actually a particular joy to accompany the Holy Father to my home country, to Indonesia.
Yes, indeed. And what was significant for you during this journey, especially in Indonesia?
Well, first of all, being with the Holy Father in the same plane, in the same class, and not far away from him in the plane, it was really already a particular joy. And then arriving in Indonesia, being with him and besides him all the time, and that was actually also a big surprise for the nation, for the country, because I was told that I should keep it a secret before we go to Indonesia. And it was, a surprise brings always joy. And being his translator, introducing my country to him, it was very good and a very special joy for me. And also being with him in his car, being with him all the time in order to greet people and to carry out all the activities, making translations and making people understand what Pope is going to say to them. It was really a particular joy. And also, we stayed together at the Apostolic Nunciator in Jakarta, and only himself, myself, and also some people. So very, very small group actually, living at the Nunciator of Jakarta, and also sitting next to him at the table. And every day he always offered me his food. It was really a particular joy.
What was the message of Pope Francis to Indonesia?
Well, the visit of the Holy Father to Indonesia can be seen in two aspects. No? The first aspect is actually the diplomatic visit um, of the Holy Father as the head of the Vatican State to Indonesia, to the state of Indonesia. And the second one is the apostolic visit of the Holy Father to the Catholic Church in Indonesia. Well, regarding the visit of the Holy Father to the state of Indonesia, Pope wanted to appreciate the plurality of Indonesia. It is a very natural one. And he always repeated our motto saying, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity. And it is actually what Pope wanted to underline and to emphasize. This is our DNA, and we should cultivate, we should always live in unity and in peace and harmony. And regarding the visit of Holy Father to the Catholic Church in Indonesia, he wanted to encourage the tiny Catholic minority in Indonesia. You know, Indonesia is the country with the biggest Muslim population in the world. And we as Catholics, we are only a tiny minority, around 3.5% of the total population. And he wanted to encourage us to live our faith despite challenges and difficulties. And he wanted also to give us more hope. And there was also a very strong missionary dimension of his visit, appealing to the local Catholic Church to reach out to people who don't belong to our community. And these are the core messages Pope Francis brought to Indonesia.
Indonesia, as you said, is one of the largest Muslim country in the world. And you are working in the dicastery of for interreligious dialogue. There have been kind of improvement in the relation between Muslims and Catholic in Indonesia.
Well, I've been working at the dicastery for interreligious dialogue in the Vatican for 17 years, more than 17 years now. And from the beginning, I was given the responsibility also to follow the relations with Muslims in my country, Indonesia. And from that on, I have been following the improvement or the development of Catholic Muslim dialogues with my country, Indonesia. Let us say in this way, the plurality of Indonesia or the existence of different religious communities in Indonesia are very natural. So we are born and we grow up with this plurality. And the interreligious dialogue between or among the religions, it is like the DNA of our country. So we cannot live without dialogue. If there are different kinds of dialogue, no, practiced by my country. Let us say dialogue of life, dialogue of collaboration, dialogue of spirituality, dialogue of theological reflections. All kind of dialogues they are really practiced in my country, and to me, people in Indonesia they are really improving in practicing dialogues. And during my work in Indonesia, I have received so many groups from Indonesia, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and even Protestants, and also Confucianists. These are the 6 official religions in Indonesia. And they always come to see us, to meet us, to cultivate the good relation. And we always give message to them in order to bring the good message of dialogue, message of harmony to our country. And I can see the initiatives and interreligious dialogue activities, they are really growing, improving and growing.
You were with the Pope as well in Singapore, in East Timor, and PNG. What was, I mean, the significant elements of those visits in those 3 countries?
Well, this I was very happy that I was able to enjoy this trip and to accompany the Holy Father not to only to Indonesia, but also to Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and Singapore. Initially, I was thinking that I go to Indonesia, no? But then they told me, no, your passport is ready, your visa is ready for all those four countries. These three other countries, they belong also to my regions of my responsibility in my work. Actually, it was the first time visiting these other three countries, not only new for the Pope, but also new for me. I've been following for 17 years now, but it was the first opportunity to see those countries. And it was wonderful to see the enthusiasm of so many people, from the airport to the residence of the Pope, and people. I don't know whether people slept in the night, because early morning we saw the same people on the street, and it was very impressive. I The visit in Papua New Guinea was actually very interesting. Um, it was actually more culturally, formed and influenced. The whole activities, they take places as other countries as well, but the Papuans, uh, they are actually very quiet people. So I was thinking that they are probably like the people of Africa, who are really very extrovert, going on the street, dancing, and etc. But actually, not the case. They are really also very much influenced by the Western Church, and therefore the way they express their faith and their life is quite different. Um, and in East Timor, it was really very impressive, very interesting, very touching. When we arrived at the airport, we saw crowd from the airport to the residence of Pope, and you know that the whole population of East Timor is only 1.3 million, and I think 99% of people were on the street, and it was really very touching. And the way they received the Holy Father, the way they greeted him, and I came to know that the state's president has declared 3 days holidays for East Timor. So the visit of Pope was actually the national festivity. I wanted to say that each country has its particularity, surely. Papua New Guinea, as mentioned some before, East Timor with very much emotion. And uh, Singapore, Singapore is a very modern country and very much influenced by the Western lifestyle, and everything was well structured. And Indonesia is very close to East Timor with very much emotion and feelings, and probably because we were one country and divided early 2000.
I saw Pope Francis introduce you in Singapore, East Timor, and Papua New Guinea. Did he introduce you as SVD?
Actually, he has known before in the Vatican that I am SVD, because I have made several translations for him in the Vatican. But more clearly, surely, in Indonesia, when we sat next to each other at the table at the Apostolic Nunciator every day, and you see, each of us has his name badge in front. And when Pope came to his place, my name was just in front of him. It was written Father Markus Solo, SVD, and he was then more aware about it. And then also other countries, he mentioned as well. And it was also a particular joy for the SVD conference. I met Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and East Timor. That there is an SVD member working closely with the Pope. And I got this to know also from the conference. I met them on the way.
You said one of the element of the visit visit of the Pope is known as a missionary visit. And we as SVDs, we are known as one of the largest missionary congregation. And in our congregation, almost the third out of the members are Indonesians. A conference, Indonesian conference, most of them are working worldwide in many countries. Is there any possibility, according to you, that one day Indonesia will be open to receive as well conference missionary from other countries?
Well, this is a very interesting, important question, surely. Um, I personally, I felt a very strong missionary spirit of the Holy Father on the way, in the sense of um, having the goodwill to reach out to people in the periphery and living in the spirit of simplicity, of poverty with the people in those countries. Well, first of all, I understand this spirit of reaching out to the periphery in the context of his last uh, apostolic constitution, Predicate Evangelium. So, which says that the church has to reach out, to go out, to meet people in the periphery. And that was also in the visit in this context of Predicate Evangelium. And Pope has given us a very strong example. Regarding the question whether Indonesia will open itself one day in order to receive the missionaries, well, that is also my strong hope. You know, the church in Indonesia was initiated by the missionaries from outside, and for a very long time, until early 70, when the politics of Indonesia has changed, um, saying that now Indonesia is closing the door towards the missionaries from abroad. And from that time, we unfortunately have to be independent. And we were not able, and we are still not able to receive missionaries from abroad. But we really hope, because the politics change always, and we hope that one day, I don't know when, but one day Indonesia will open the gates for the foreign missionaries.
It is our hope. And among the bishops, there was one well known, Father Budi Kleden, Bishop Budi Kleden, who was ordained bishop some days before the visitation of Pope Francis. Did you meet personally Bishop Budi Kleden?
Yes, I met him several times in Jakarta during the visit of Pope. But before that, at the table at the Apostolic Nunciature, he was also the topic of our conversation with the Holy Father. He's very much aware about him and about the procedure um, when he was elected, the circumstances we had in the society, that he just finished one term and etc. But he was supported by the Holy Father. The Holy Father spoke positively about this decision, and and then in Jakarta, I met Monsignor Budi Kleden several times, because all bishops were, let us say, obliged to be present.
So we do pray for him and for his service, missionary service in the diocese of Ande. And now coming back to the topic of our conversation, do you have any anecdote, memory of this journey visit with the Pope?
Well, the anecdotes. Let us say there was no meal without jokes of Holy Father. So the Pope is very good in telling jokes and making people laugh. So it was very nice atmosphere listening to his jokes. I can remember one of the jokes he taught us at the table, because it's actually not a new joke, but taught by the Holy Father. It has a different meaning, you know. During lunchtime, when we were a bit tired, and he started telling a joke, saying that, you know what, um, there was somebody driving the motorcycle very, very fast. You know, and even he broke the law. There was traffic, red traffic, but he passed quickly. And then after that, the police stopped him, and he was really surprised why he was stopped by the police. No, and the police told him that he was too fast on the way, and then asking, "Did don't you see me, or didn't you see me?" And the driver says, "Actually, um, I saw only the light, but I didn't see you." So that was a really funny joke. The way he taught the joke, it was really funny and very
So the
lovely.
driver was concentrated, as you were during your translation, concentrated on what the Pope was saying. So you could not see those around. What was important for you was the message of the Pope. Thank you very much, Father Markus Solo, for your sharing. And it is, as I said, was a privilege for us to see you at the site of the Pope for the service you run to the church and to your country, Indonesia. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Father Modeste. Thank you very much.